Big 2-0. Yay. All right. I finally wrote down the page number, for once, because I'm responsible or something. Chapter 20. The traveler must take guidance from those who are most affected by his actions. He is responsible to them as well as to his humanity as a whole. It turns out Simi was right. I do need her help. We're back to practicing the rune trick together as a team. It wasn't the same with Dad or Miss Teak. Something about Simi's presence makes it easier for me to enter and stay in a trance. Working together again takes a bit of time getting used to, but as well as spending more time with each other, we slip right back into our old ways. Now I guess almost every rune correctly with my psychic sight. When I make mistakes, it's because I'm being careless or because I mix up two runes that look similar. I've been feeling so good, as a matter of fact, that last night I didn't even take a sleeping pill before going to bed, which turned out to be a huge mistake. I had to listen to Simi being crushed like a bug under a sneaker hundreds of times throughout my dreams. So all of today has been a total waste. I don't have near enough energy to hone my gifts. After washing up for bed and brushing my teeth, I pop a tiny round pill down my throat, tuck myself in, and lie there thinking. Seems I've got no choice but to take a pill every night before bed until the threat to Simi's life is taken care of. It's a small price to pay. I sigh and reposition myself in bed, realizing the drug isn't quite as potent tonight. I must have accidentally taken a half dose. Drawing the baggie out from under my bed, I take a second tablet. That does the trick. The next morning, I don't have much difficulty getting out of bed. The haze is lifted. I go through the motions of school, but don't really care. The only thing that matters is finding Dax and saving Simi. At lunch, she and I sit next to each other and share our meals with each other, resulting in a gourmet feast of egg salad sandwiches, rice, and some smelly soup-like substance called dal. I eat most of it, while Simi tells me a story about her kid sister, Nia's run-in with a skunk. She's just to the part about a tomato bath when Shapri comes and slides into the bench across from us, bringing heavy air with her and a fruit basket. Smell. Hey, Shapri, welcome back, I say, between bites. I had forgotten her suspension was over, and she'd be in school today. It's good to see her again. Hi, she answers, as she unpacks her lunch and crunches down on a tart-smelling apple. The lingering scent of berries vanishes. We sure miss you, I say, trying to coax her back to normalcy. Uh-huh, she says, balling her paper sack up and tossing it to the side. So I guess that means we don't need to pretend anymore, right? Nope. I told Simi everything. We're good. Cool, she says, mixing something with her spork. Simi continues her story about Nia and the skunk. Shapri laughs in all the appropriate places, but doesn't add any side commentary. I ask her about it in lab. but Dr. Brown won't reassign Simi a second time, so it's only Shapri and me until the end of the year. I don't know. It's just weird to have Simi back in the group. Though I'm happy she is. It'll take some time getting used to is all. Shapri whispers, while Dr. Brown points out the grades from our latest test and passes them around. Yeah, I get that. Was it weird when I came back before? Not really. Shapri scratches at the surface of the desk. I heart B-E? Ew. This starts a whole new conversation, and before I know it, everything's back to normal. I make myself a promise not to fight with either of the girls again, as long as I can avoid it. As long as I can avoid it, that is. Shapri must feel the same way I do, because after school she walks over to Miss Teak's with me and Simi. The whole way, she seems distracted. Maybe she's upset about coming with us, but she also doesn't want to be left out. We push open the door to the shop. The new bell greets us. Its timbre is deeper than the one in Sweet Blossoms. A gust of wind follows us inside, bringing that scent of cherries. Sup, Oracles? I greet Dad and Miss Teak. Here we are, ready for the day's lesson. We have a client coming in soon, Dad says. So you guys will need to go hang out at Mom's for a while. Shapri murmurs something I can't quite make out. When can we come back? Simi says. Stop it, Shapri says out of nowhere. A subtle breeze with no clear origins whips by my face. Miss Teak clears her throat and moves to stand next to her daughter. Come back in 45 minutes? Dad asks, as if he's looking for confirmation. We should be good and leave me alone, Shapri yells, taking a quick breath between each word. Shapri, baby, Miss Teak says in a honey voice. Hush now, child. The smells of grass and sandalwood collide as Miss Teak holds Shapri's head to her chest and rocks her. I can't. I won't. Shapri sobs. Shh. We know. Come on, let's go, I say to no one in particular. Dad and Simi both follow me out into the balmy March air. The snow melted a couple of weeks ago, which is way earlier than usual. Something to do with global warming. I'll wait here to give them some space until the client arrives, Dad explains, leaning back against the exterior wall building. I snap my fingers to show I understand and head over to Sweet Blossoms with Simi in tow. I wonder what's gotten into her, Simi asks. Hope she's okay. Yeah, me too. We enter Sweet Blossoms to find Mom polishing vases and straightening floral arrangements. Hi, Sapling. Hi, Saplingette, she chirps. Don't feel like hanging out next door today? Shapri and her mom need some privacy, I said. Well, I'm glad to have the company. How was school today? Mom and I talk about a bunch of little unimportant things, while Simi wanders around the store and examines the bouquets, stirring up a potent arrangement of fragrances as she caresses each flower and releases its perfume into the air. These are lovely, she croons when there's a pause in the conversation. How did you learn to set them so perfectly? I cringe. Mom's flowers are such an important part of her, but I'll never be able to appreciate them beyond their unique mismatch of fragrances. I worked as an apprentice to a florist before going into the business myself. Taught me everything I know. If things pick up, maybe I could hire you to help out around here someday too. Mom seems thrilled about this idea. Simmy does too. I, on the other hand, am not. No, she's mine, I hiss. I don't even sound like myself. Alex, don't be silly. Mom dismisses my reaction. We can share her. Isn't that right, Simmy? Simmy begins to talk, but I shudder. But I cut her off. I don't share well, I say, lowering my voice to an unnatural pitch. I don't want to say these crazy things, but I can't stop myself either. Something from deep within me is lashing out at the people I love. Simmy and Mom both laugh. Luckily, they think I'm making a joke. Mom starts talking flowers to her new student. I don't say anymore, but the anger continues to fester inside. I've only just gotten Simmy back. I can't lose her. Won't lose her. She is mine. The floor beneath me begins to rock. Smells of ink and rancid coffee mix with burning diesel fumes. And it permeates the air. A loud clunking comes from beneath, and a heavy whirling sound from the sides. The temperature rises several degrees, and I can feel a crowd of bodies appear around me. A door opens from the left, letting in a wall of cold air. I feel my position relative to the scene changing, although I'm standing still. Matatuck Station, a robotic female voice announces. Next stop, Southold. Southold or Southold? I can't tell what it is. Ding! A handful of people scramble about for their belongings and head into the cold. I am carried along with them. People disperse in every direction. A few more go into the warmth. The door slides closed, cutting off the source of heat. The vehicle pulls away with a series of progressively louder clunks. It takes forever to pass, way longer than a car or a truck would. This is a train. The train still hasn't passed. As I move along again, two bodies walk straight into each other in the midst of the people. I'm right next to them when it happens. Watch where you're going, huh? Dax spits and continues forward down the stairs and steps out into the street. The vision cuts. Matatuck, Southold. Matatuck, Southold. I repeat those names in my head over and over so I won't forget them before getting home to my talking web browser. A tugging feeling tells me that these little words are going to be enough to help me finally locate Dax. At home, I type in the names and allow Google to autocorrect the spellings. Every single result points to these same things. Dax is in New York. Oh man, why has it got to be in New York? Boo. Boo. The next morning, I tell Dad about the train vision and the names of the station. I don't even need to mention my online research. He immediately recognizes the words without any added description from me. So he's on Long Island. Hey, I live in Long Island. Oh my gosh, I'm in so much trouble, guys. Help me. I should have known that our guy was a New Yorker. Ironically, he says this without the Boston accent. What do we do now? I ask as he pulls into the school parking lot. New York. Kill me now, he grumbles. I'm not sure he's kidding about the death wish. He sighs and then continues. I guess I should poke around and go find him. But Mom, you can't leave her again without an explanation. It'll crush her. Yeah, I suppose it's time. Time for what? For the truth. Now go. He pushes the button to unlock the van doors. I hop out as instructed, even though I'd like to talk more about how Dad plans on revealing our gifts to Mom and how he expects to find Dax once he reaches New York. Chapri's in school. Chapri is not in school today, which thrusts another whole world of worry at me. Simi is upset about Chapri's absence as well, but decides she doesn't want to discuss it. I choose not to tell her about the new Dax information. She knows too much already, so I end up telling her. So I end up hearing stories about her mom and a wounded pigeon. Halfway through 6th period, I'm called to the office over the PA system. Dad is there waiting for me. Come to check you out early for your doctor's appointment, he explains with his accent. We walk quietly side by side until we reach the van. I thought we could use some time to plan this out. Plan what we're going to say to your mom, he explains. We bat ideas back and forth. Should we tell Mom about the danger? Should we tell her about my powers or only Dad's? How can we reveal the truth without terrifying her? We decide I should be the one to tell her, and Dad will jump in if I come across any trouble. Driving over to Sweet Blossoms, I feel like I'm on my way to an execution, except I'm the guy wielding the axe, and Mom is my falsely charged victim. I pray I can make this as quick and painless as possible. Oak Tree, what are you doing here? School isn't out yet, is it? It seems too early. She greets us over the sound of the bells. Dad walks in behind me. Greg, what's going on? Mom plops something wet onto the counter and comes over to give us both hugs. Nothing's the matter, I say. It's just that Dad will have to go away again, and I may have to go with him eventually. This time we thought you deserved an explanation. You're leaving? Mom asks with a squeak. Since this question was intended for Dad, he's the one who answers it. Yes, but I don't have a choice. If I don't go, Alex's vision will come true. What? No! I'm so used to denying it. This is my knee-jerk response. It's about Simi, right? Mom says, her voice full of concern. She's such a sweet girl. How do I know? Dad and I snap our fingers in unison, awaiting her explanation. How could I not know with you disappearing and reappearing? With your disappearing and reappearing accent, she says to my dad. Then she turns to me. And your erratic behavior, acting out in school, freezing up, and then getting all quiet sometimes. Other times you scream Simmy's name in the middle of the night. You even cry out that you can't let her die. I reach out and place my hand on Dad's arm to steady myself. Not to mention, you are working at a psychic shop. I just didn't realize until recently that you were actually working there. So, you know what we are? Dad sputters. Well, of course. Do you think I'm stupid or something? No, of course not. Realizing that Mom's known all this time, or at least for a while, is weird. I thought we were doing such a good job keeping it a secret. I also can't believe that she hasn't done a single thing about it despite her constant worrying and overprotectiveness. There is one possible answer I hadn't considered. Mom, does this mean that you're psychic too? Sure I am, Mom says in her happy-go-lucky voice. My jaw drops, but still no words escape. If being psychic by association counts, she laughs. I'm so confused. Is she or isn't she? I'm not, Alex. Don't worry. Didn't you know that she knew? I asked Dad, kind of peeved with him for making this a bigger deal than he needed to. Dad stalls. No. What about your whole mind reading? I press in irritation. I can't read your mother's. And it's a good thing, too. I've been pretty mad at you lately, Greg. I'm sorry, Susan. I didn't like keeping these secrets from you. I was trying to protect you. Why does everyone always think I need protecting? It's not that, Dad protests. Then what is it? She demands. I wasn't hiding it from you. I wasn't hiding it from you. I was hiding it from myself. Mom starts to say something, but I cut in. How come you can't read her? I motion toward Dad. And how did you figure out what we are? I gesture at Mom. I can only read other psychics, Dad answers. After a moment, Mom realizes it's her turn to speak. Her voice takes on a disparaging tone. The same I hear every time. The same I hear every day from October to January. The same one I heard every day from October to January. When you left, it really hurt me, she says. I didn't know what it was I did to make you leave. Times were really hard, but luckily I had Alex there to help me through it. As I started to feel better, I noticed that he was feeling worse and worse. His friends quit coming by the shop after school, and he quit visiting Miss Teak. He just moped about the house all the time. Well, of course, I started to worry, so I paid close attention to try to figure out what was wrong. I overheard plenty of conversations about gifts this and universe that. Most of the time, Alex talked to himself, which was another red flag. Put them together with the nighttime screaming and other strange behaviors. Mom's voice returns to its normal harmony as she finishes her speech. And voila! It's not really such a big mystery now, is it? No, I guess not, Dad says. That's why you didn't ask questions when you came back? You knew somehow... I knew that somehow you... That's why I didn't ask many questions when you came back. I knew that somehow you knew about Alex, and I suspected that it was because you had some similar sort of talent. I've also overheard a few of your one-sided conversations with Alex. You can tell me, or I can find out myself. You can tell me, or I can find out myself. She drops her voice and takes on a slight accent in her impression of Dad. I thought your leaving must have had something to do with everything that was going on, and you'd tell me when the time was right. I guess it's finally right time o'clock. And you're okay with it? And you're okay with it, not worried at all? I ask, unable to believe that she can be so nonplussed about this revelation. I'll admit, I was pretty worried at first, especially since you appeared to be in so much pain because of it. But then I realized that fussing about it wasn't going to help at all. And when your dad came back, you did seem to be getting a little better. I guess the thing that bothers me the most is that neither of you felt like you could tell me. We were trying to protect you, Dad repeats. Don't worry about me. I can handle myself, Mom says, with an uncharacteristic seriousness, before switching back to her light and playful tone. I think I should be the one worrying about the both of you. I don't want you marching into danger. Involuntarily, besides. Mom, we have to. We have to save Simmy. If she died... It's okay, Alex. I understand why the two of you have to go, even though I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. At least promise me, though, that you'll both come back safe and sound. Can you do that? I swallow. Dad answers for the both of us. Of course. Just as soon as we can. Then there'll be no trouble from me. Just be sure to call every once in a while to check in. If things get too dangerous, I expect you to both turn around and come straight back home. Get it? Got it? Yes. Dad whispers as he pulls us both into a tight hug. And bring me a good present when you get back, Mom adds, exiting the hug and returning to work. Aww.